In the headlines, ECOWAS defense chiefs agree D-Day for Niger military intervention. NBA probes sexual harassment allegations against UNICAL Dean of Law. UNICEF says over 180,000 children unvaccinated in Borno State. And on the foreign scene, Kyiv says 7 killed, 90 injured in Sherinhu attack. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us at the news and details. West Africa's main bloc ECOWAS has agreed on a D-Day for possible military intervention to restore the democracy in Niger after generals toppled and detained President Mohamed Bazoum last month. The Economic Community of the West African States, ECOWAS, agreed on Friday to activate a standby force as a last resort if diplomatic efforts fail. A senior official said without disclosing when that is. The defense chiefs met to fine-tune details of the potential military operation to restore Bazoum if ongoing negotiations with the coup leaders fail. Military officers deposed Bazoum on July 26 and have defied calls from the United Nations, ECOWAS, and others to reinstate him.
We have arrived at our decisions, which we are going to present to the ECOWAS Commission for implementation. As you're all aware, the military is just a tool for the government, for ECOWAS. And in this case, our reports will go into the ECOWAS Commission for them to take final decision.
Ready to go anytime the order is given. The D-Day is also decided, which we are not going to disclose. There will be no more meetings of the chiefs of defense staff. Tomorrow, there is the possibility of an ECOWAS mission going into Niger to continue to pursue the peaceful path, to restoration of constitutional order. So I don't think we must focus on the military aspect. We are ready to resolve it peacefully, but it takes two to tango.
The Kwara State government has confirmed the receipt of the 2 billion naira out of the 4 billion naira relief funds that the federal government released for purchase of rice and for distribution in the state. The state also said it awaits a balance of 2 billion naira of the funds as well as 1 billion naira worth of maize, about 40,000 bags, which the Central Bank of Nigeria is selling to each state from the National Strategic Reserve. Briefing journalist, the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Rafiu Ajakaye, also confirms receipt of the remaining 3 trucks of bags of rice. The government had on August 8, 2023 announced delivery of 2 truckloads of bags of rice while awaiting 3 more. He said distribution of the remaining 3 truckloads has commenced.
We wish to confirm receipt of 2 billion naira out of the 4 billion naira relief funds that the federal government has released for purchase of rice to be distributed en masse to vulnerable members of the public in the state. The state government, having confirmed the 2 billion out of the 4 billion naira, await a balance of 2 billion naira of the funds, as well as 1 billion naira worth of maize, which is 40,000 bags, which the Central Bank of Nigeria is selling to each state from the National Strategic Reserve. We wish to explain in context the details of the 5 billion naira federal government relief package that had earlier been reported by the media. Each state is to receive 4 billion naira to purchase bags of rice in the current market value and distribute same to citizens in the state, with the most vulnerable persons as the first priority.
The Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, says it has resolved to investigate the allegations of sexual assault against the suspended Dean of the Faculty of Law, University of Calabar, Professor Cyril Difon. The NBA National Publicity Secretary, Akorede Habib Lawal, in a statement on Saturday, said the decision was reached by its National Executive Committee, NEC, at a recent monthly meeting. Lawal noted that the NBA next set up an ad hoc committee comprising of first Vice President of the NBA, Linda Rose Bala, the Assistant General Secretary of the NBA, Daniel Kipp, the Chairperson of the NBA Women's Forum, and the Chairman of the NBA Calabar branch to investigate the allegations against the professor. The NBA's decision comes after Difon's reported suspension by the management of the University of Calabar on Thursday over the disturbing allegations as seen in a recent viral video showing female students protesting. On security matters, gunmen suspected to be kidnappers have abducted Aliyu Maidama, brother to late businessman Dikko Chemist. He was reportedly kidnapped after sporadic gunshots in Tambuwal town, headquarters of Tambuwal local government area of Sokoto State. The suspected bandits were said to be on a reprisal attack after their colleagues were neutralized in Kebbe area, 45 kilometers away from Tambuwal, by security operatives. A source from Tambuwal town explained that the bandits stormed Tambuwal Motor Park at about 9 p.m. in their numbers, shooting sporadically before kidnapping Maidama. He added that those who saw them said they were heading to Kebbe town. The police are yet to issue a statement on the incident. Hadiza Ahmed, a resident of Gidan Alasan in Rara district of Raba local government area of Sokoto State, is a mother of 7 children displaced by bandits 2 years ago. Hadiza is now living in a makeshift camp at Raba town with her family. Abubakar Imam reports that abduction of her 12-year-old daughter recently by bandits made life even miserable for Hadiza. Take a look.
It is just few minutes after a heavy downpour, with many internally displaced persons warming themselves in their makeshift accommodation because of the cold weather. But Hadiza Ahmed defies this biting cold, moving around desperately to see how she could raise some money to secure the release of her 12-year-old daughter, who has been in captivity for the last 1 month. The daughter was abducted by bandits along with 4 other children while fetching firewood for her mother at the nearby bush. The bandits had earlier demanded 200,000 naira, which was raised through donations from relatives and other members of the community. But when the money was taken to them, the bandits rejected the money, raising it to 500,000 naira.
We came here from Gidan Larson village. We were displaced by bandits. I'm in a serious agony right now because my daughter has been in captivity for the last 4 weeks and we don't have the money to secure her release. I sent her to the nearby bush to fetch firewood for me when the bandits abducted her and 3 of her friends that accompanied her. She did not eat anything before they were taken away because the firewood was meant to prepare their breakfast. The abductors are demanding for 500,000 naira to free her alone. Initially, they demanded 200,000 naira, which were donations from our relatives and other members of the community. When the money was taken to them, they rejected it, that they would not accept anything less than 500,000 naira. We don't know how to raise the money because even what to eat has always been a problem to us. We're appealing for help. We want our daughter back because she's too young to be subjected to this kind of cruelty.
Another displaced person, Aisha Abubakar, said they have not been getting any support from any quarter.
We have not been getting any support since we came to this place 2 years ago. People have been coming to take our names, but nothing comes out of it up to this moment. We have been hearing about other displaced people getting support, but this has not reached our camp. Look at the condition we're living in. We don't have decent accommodation. We don't have portable water and food to eat. We're only surviving on handouts from the locals.
According to the document obtained from the Sokoto State Emergency Management Agency, 10,555 individuals from 3,091 households are currently staying in the camp, which is codenamed Raba Stadium Camp. Out of the total number, 7,938 are children. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Social Welfare and Humanitarian Affairs, Amina Mohammed Jakada, said the state government has been up and doing in attending the flight of the IDPs in the state. She noted that there is arrangement on ground to return them back to their respective villages after the rainy season. From Raba Stadium Camp for IDPs, Abubakar Awal Imam, Trust TV, Raba in Sokoto State.
Speaker, House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas says additional military formation will be established to tame bandits' attack in Zaria. The Speaker gave the assurance during a condolence visit to the Emir of Zazzau, Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, over death of worshippers in Zaria mosques last Friday. The report.
The Speaker said the purpose of the visit was to commiserate with the Emirate over the mosque's collapse and cases of bandit attack in Zaria city and environs. Abbas said the leadership of the National Assembly has engaged relevant security agencies on better modalities toward addressing the challenge, noting that the engagement has yielded result as the Nigerian army as routes used by the bandit has been identified.
Well, to take this unfortunate incident as an act of God, and God in His infinite mercy will grant the soul of those who lost their lives in Al-Jannah Firdausi. And as for us, we have resolved to support the reconstruction of the mosque whenever the estimate for the repairs or the renovation or reconstruction of the mosque is made available to us.
The Speaker also said he will work closely with the Emirate Council on the quick and timely renovation of the collapsed mosques. The Emir of Zazzau, Ahmed Bamali, specifically suggested establishment of such military camps around Kuregu, Kugu, and other western axes of the ancient city of Zaria. I want to sincerely express my gratitude to the Speaker and his entourage for the condolence visit. Mr. Speaker, the entire people of Zazzau Emirate were thrown into grief due to the collapsed mosques and the bandit attack. We are glad for your condolence visit. We thank you for finding out time to be here. Today is exactly 7 days that the unfortunate incidents occurred. We are hopeful that those who lost their lives are in Jannatul Firdaus. There are two things to it. First, they attended the Jumu'at prayer, and during the Asr prayer, the unfortunate incident occurred. Secondly, they died on Friday, and we all know what that means in Islam. Again, they were in the middle of prayer, and it was Asr prayer. So their death was significant. We pray Almighty Allah to grant them Jannatul Firdaus. Some principal officers of the National Assembly made donations for the renovation of the mosque that collapsed last week. Abubakar Sadiq Mohammed, Trust TV News, Zaria.
Over 1.2 million students, representing 79.81% of the total number of candidates that sat for the Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination conducted by WAEC, obtained credits and above in a minimum of 5 subjects, including English language and mathematics this year. Now, in this report, Ayuba Ilya meets with the overall best students in the 2023 WAEC examination. The report.
17-year-old Isa Salmanu has one of the best results of the 2023 West African Senior School Certificate Examination in Nigeria with A1 in all his 9 subjects. Isa came out top of the over 1.6 million candidates that sat for the exams in Nigeria. Not only did Isa pass his senior secondary school exams with distinctions, he scored 347 points in his Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. What could be his secret?
In my JS2, there was a time that I didn't really understand the topic in mathematics, and my teacher pulled me aside and told me that the only way I can understand something very well is if I put in the extra effort, if I work harder than others to understand it more. And I can also say that my parents have also been a major factor as well. They always told me that hard work is the best way to success, and because of that, I've been determined.
With such high grades, becoming the best graduating student in his school is without any doubt. Isa is a proud recipient of 7 awards in his school due to his outstanding performance.
So this one was for best in computer studies, ST. I expected to get this one because I think I'm good in computer studies. This was for best in coding. I enjoy coding as well, so I think that's why I was the best in the subject. And some of my peers.
The young genius has an ambition to impact the world with his brilliance through computer science. He hopes for the opportunity to learn from the best in computer technology.
Countries such as US, Canada, or the UK, those are my ideal places to study. I want to study computer science, and I believe the US, those countries I mentioned, they are quite developed in that space, and they will help me, they will give me more opportunities to learn.
Isa's outstanding academic performance started from his early years in school. He was among the top 10 in the Common Entrance Examination in his state. This qualified him for the Cradle to Career Scholarship run by the NNPC and Shell Nigeria for his secondary education. His proud father, Wing Commander Musa Salmanu, retired, knew early his son was cut out for greatness.
I remember when at the time I went to their school, I told him they have a Hall of Fame where they put their best students. I kept telling him that you have to be, your picture will be here. We chose a particular spot for where his picture will be kept. This is 34 years ago. And also, so every time I had the opportunity, I reminded him that this is where we have agreed collectively, myself and you, that your picture will be. And we counted 1 year down, 2 years down, and this is the year the picture has to be here.
Isa is the second out of 6 children in his family. He hails from Kaduna South local government area of Kaduna State. He attended Depoa Primary School, Mogadishu Cantonment, Asokoro, and Premier Academy, Lugbe, both in Abuja, for his primary and secondary education. Ayuba Ilia, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up, we'll take a look at the growing concern of commuters and pedestrians in the FCT. Stay with us.
Let's take you on a ride through a series of colors, events, concerts, and lots more. Are you planning an event? Event Scope has you covered. Make Trust TV your #1 choice to cover your event. Call 080-3591-0553. Event Scope, making your event classic. Follow us on all of our social media platforms at Trust TV News for latest updates on Event Scope.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Update on Trust TV. And here's a recap of our top stories. We brought you ECOWAS Defense Chief agrees D-Day for the Niger military intervention. An NBA probes sexual harassment allegations against Unical Dean of Law. Now moving on to more stories. The United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF has said over 180,000 children in Borno State are yet to be vaccinated. The UNICEF country representative Christian Munduit, who disclosed this at a press briefing in Maiduguri, said the children from 8 local governments of Mafa, Gubio, Jere, Konduga, Monguno, Ngala, and MMC were not vaccinated due to several factors. She listed the factors to include cultural practice, inadequate health facilities, lack of health personnel, and resistance from the affected communities. She stressed that lack of immunization led to resurgence of some vaccine-preventable diseases like diphtheria and measles, among others. She called on humanitarian workers and the government to help stem the spread of diseases among vulnerable children by ensuring children are vaccinated.
So we want to join forces with the government, with the health department, to see how we can do a very strong outreach, door to door, so that these children can receive their vaccines. The reason why at times you hear that, for example, in Borno, but in other states, that children are getting sick of measles or diphtheria at 8 years, 10 years, which is highly dangerous. The reason is because these children were never vaccinated. So we have to make an effort. And in this regard, we really count on you, right? Because it is important that people, not only communities, religious leaders, traditional leaders, hear of the importance of these services and their availability. It is important that they hear this from the government, from UNICEF, from the NGOs, all the international community.
Reckless drivers by dispatch riders in Abuja is becoming a source of concern for commuters and other road users. In this report, Noel Sampson speaks to road users on what can be done to express the trend of reckless driving in the capital city. The report.
The likes of Adebayo Abdulkhalik, Ismaila Shaibu, and Friday Peter are part of the hundreds of dispatch riders running the business in Abuja. They share experiences on the reasons for the reckless driving among dispatch riders in the city.
Some of you guys, if you don't collect new bike like this, you dey shark. Go dey like you won't speed, you won't run and finish. So at times it leads to accidents. But at times all these cab drivers, they are the ones that have fault, but they'll still say it's the rider based on they have been having some little issues with the rider.
We are trying to beat the time so that because when you deliver on time, you have another one immediately. Then the more you faster, the more you got another one. So because of that time when you have to deliver, that is why you see we are trying to meet up. Before you know, all those small accidents will happen.
Not because we want to drive recklessly, but because we have to meet up with time. And the more you deliver, the more order you get and the more money you get at the end of it. If you don't deliver fast, the customers are going to insult you at times. Understand? They will go a long way by insulting you, telling you all sorts of things.
Drivers and commuters blame attitude of the riders as factor responsible for the recklessness.
Some of these dispatch riders, they are under control of the management of the company, and they must make sure they satisfy the management of the company to make sure that these goods are delivered at time. And most receivers of these products don't even understand the fact that there could be an interruption on the way that may interrupt the movement of the dispatch rider, all things being equal.
Most of them I see, they don't have orientation. because if they have that full orientation regarding the way they need to drive, that they should be able to understand by the time any taxi park to drop passengers, they should be able to understand that this car that parked here, he didn't just park there, he parked there in order to open the car or passenger want to come down from the car. So definitely, if the car is parked and the driver or the passenger want to open the door, with the orientation, they could be able to understand that this door is about to be open because he's parked in this location. They should be able to like stop.
They always be traffic lights. Or if, as a taxi driver, maybe you park your car, they will not even observe. Before the passenger will open the door, they will have jammed the passenger or remove your car door.
They recommended patience for the riders and their customers who may be expecting delivery of goods and services within shortest time. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In business, the acting Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, says the service will re-establish a good relationship with Cameroon and the southern part of Chad. Adeniyi, in a statement obtained on Friday, said this when he hosted the governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulum, in Abuja. He said the service would re-establish cross-border trade in the northeast. Adeniyi also expressed readiness for the service to improve trade activities in the northeastern part of Nigeria. And according to the custom boss, the measure will boost the region's economy and provide jobs for the people in the state. He assured the governor of his administration's commitment to engaging the military to develop new measures to assist in re-establishing the full structure of cross-border trade in the area. From the foreign scene, 7 people, including a 6-year-old child, were killed and 90 wounded when a Russian missile struck a central square in the historic northern Ukrainian city of Chernihiv, the Interior Ministry said on Saturday. People had been on their way to church to celebrate a religious holiday when the strike took place, the ministry said, adding that 12 of the wounded were children and 10 were police officers. A short video accompanying Zelensky's post showed debris scattered across a square in front of the regional drama theater where parked cars were heavily damaged. This video also briefly showed a body slouched inside a car. Now, Chernihiv is a city of leafy boulevards and centuries-old churches, about 145 kilometers north of the capital, Kyiv. The Interior Ministry said the roof of the drama theater had been destroyed in the strike. And finally, in sports, 6 football clubs from West African countries have arrived in Benin City for the 2023 Confederation of African Football CAF Women's Champions League qualifiers. The clubs are Delta Queens FC of Nigeria, Athletic FC Abidjan of Cote d'Ivoire, and U.S. Forces Armies of Burkina Faso. Others are Ampia Darkwa of Ghana, Sam Nelly of Benin Republic, and Friends of World FC of Togo. As Garde Nationale of the Niger Republic's absence because of the coup in the country has, however, led to the regrouping of the earlier draw conducted for their WAFU B zone qualifiers. And with that, we wrap up news updates on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.